Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folarin. I guess most of our viewers, knowing the show this morning on TVC, you probably would have been expecting that we'll stay on the Chatham House outing in the UK that happened yesterday. Quite an exciting affair. It depends. All sorts of opinions have started to, be flying about on the same event. On the one hand, you see some opinions, oh man, that was a great outing. On the other hand, you see some that, oh no. And so that is the way of life. But we'll be looking at it. The APC presidential candidate, Ajibola Tinubu, he was in the UK yesterday to speak to diaspora and also to sort of point his way, how, if he's elected, how he would hope to run. One emphasis, one thing that came out is something that a lot of people who are close to Ajibola Tinubu know, those that have been with him. And he spoke about it yesterday in the UK at Chatham House. His teamster management style. Whoever has worked with the man knows that this is the way he rolls, as the youth say. This is the way he rolls. It's a team effort, it's a teamster, but we'll come to that. A lot of people have been saying that why was he, assigning questions? There are those who are saying, why not? He explained it, that this is how I do. And those people were ready and indeed did justice to the subject. But anyhow, I get ahead of myself. Let's do an overview. We have a package, a bit lengthy for TV news story terms. It's about 4 minutes long. Here is Tinubu in the UK at Chatham House.
Why? I see myself as a marketable individual.
Ajibola Tinubu spoke on the topic, Nigeria's 2023 elections, security and economic development, and its foreign policy imperatives to a mixed audience of Nigerians and foreigners.
The youth has been part of that. I want the governor of Lagos State.
He said youths are the greatest asset of the future, adding that they will be part of his, quote, all-inclusive government, pointing to Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The APC presidential candidate also promised to secure the country if elected as president, calling for a violence-free campaign. He condemned recent attacks of offices of the Independent National Electoral Commission in some parts of the country.
We are still building confidence in our democratic and voting system.
The former Lagos State Governor also insisted that his birth, academic and professional records are consistent, adding that his critics are only wasting their time and money.
At the time of birth, I was dated March 29, 1952, and the family record. I didn't think then, that day, I've determined to be, or decided to be, a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Not even that I will go to politics. I've a very good exposure in life. My record is consistent. And the school and the university, they question, they now convinced that they wasted their money and their time. I'm not claiming another father. I am Tinubu and Tinubu proper. If they want a DNA, they could as well require for one. Deloitte trained me as an accounting firm. Mobile has attested to my record, a standing record. I got to the pinnacle of my career. And the private sector, who among them can brag about it?
Some members of his entourage spoke on what they hope to achieve when voted into power, ranging from reduction in oil theft by adopting necessary technology and amending the constitution to ensure state policing, amongst others.
to combat oil theft is tied to the security situation of Nigeria. The personnel of all the security or coercive agencies will be increased to cope with the large population of Nigeria.
The armed forces are not fighting with other countries. They are fighting with non-state actors. And the doctrine, the training, the numbers must change. And the Bola Tinubu administration already has a blueprint which is embedded in our action plan to address this. We'll scale up the numbers of the armed forces. We'll ramp up not only the numbers, but the training and equipment.
Private sector-driven economic growth and foreign direct investment will also be a key element of that process. That's the objective of the administration, and that's what they intend to achieve through the economic policy.
Nigeria has been more dependent on importing drugs from outside the country, vaccines from outside the country. He is going to also go into health manufacturing, where we'll produce the essential medicines that Nigerians can consume.
They assured the audience of accelerated investment on gas production, revamping the economic and foreign policy imperatives.
Okay, so there you have it, the meeting link on via Zoom, and I also think, yeah, I know, Facebook Live was published yesterday, so I imagine a lot of people from around the world would have been watching. And so we'll talk about it now, and the Senate spokesman, Senator Ajibola Bashiru is our guest this morning to sort of review and talk about it. Good morning to you, Senator Ajibola Bashiru.
Yeah, good morning, Yori. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Maybe I could ask, how are you too, especially regarding Asiwaju's Chatham House outing?
Yeah, it is first important, just as usually do, to preface my comments to say that although I'm Senate spokesperson and chairman Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, but my contribution here is as regards my personality as a politician of the APC and a member of the Presidential Campaign Council of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu campaign. So whatever opinion I offer here is as regards my partisan position as a chieftain of the APC and part of the campaign of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima. Having said that, I think there's a need to take a broad brush of what transpired at the Chatham House yesterday.
Sure.
The theme of the engagement of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has to do with economy, security, and foreign affairs imperatives ahead of the 2023 election. And the platform gave opportunity to the flag bearer of our party of an opportunity to speak his mind as to those critical areas as regards security, as regards economy, and of course foreign relations. And before taking the ladder into what he said about those critical areas, it is imperative that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, characteristically as a Democrat, made introductory remarks as to the need for sanctity of electoral process in Nigeria, and that having been a leader of opposition for a long time, he are now in government, is still committed to free, fair, and credible election, and they were looking towards INEC living up to the billing of having a free, fair, and credible election, because that is sine qua non to democratic advancement and welfare of our people. Now, in the area of security, Asiwaju was able to provide a linkage between economic development, security, and technology. In this regard, he was able to show that the need for a secure Nigeria is imperative, not only in the interest of Nigeria, but the interest of global stability and security. A secure Nigeria is very imperative to security of West Africa and the entire African continent. And he was able to identify the various symptoms of insecurity, banditry, terrorism, kidnapping, and so on and so forth, and come up with action plan as already enunciated in the Renew Hope 23 manifesto that have been adopted by our party, the APC. And of course, in the area of economy, the presidential flag bearer of our party, Ajibola Tinubu, was able to identify the need to address the challenge in the energy sector. And characteristic of him being a federalist, even when he was governor of Lagos State, he was able to identify the imperative of decentralized energy system in Nigeria. And of course, he took a swipe at a situation whereby the central government is the operator, regulator, and price fixer in the energy sector. And of course, as he said, that will not work. So we are looking towards a decentralized energy sector. And of course, he also underscored the need and imperative of the private sector to be drivers of economy. That, for me, may be said to be a no-brainer in the modern world. And with the work that Ashwaju did in Lagos and transformative leadership he gave, there is no doubt about his credential about utilizing private sector in being able to drive economic development and advancement of the people. Very important to also is exposition on the economy is agriculture. He was able to say, while acknowledging that the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari have been able to expand the cultivable landscape in Nigeria in terms of agriculture, and also making available facilities for expansion of agric in Nigeria. He was able to highlight the need for the use of technology, also the need to also ensure that access road and, of course, investment in critical sector to be able to drive food security has been imperative to be able to drive cultural development of Nigeria. And in terms of budgeting, he was able to advance that budgeting must be targeted at minimum of growth of 7% annually, which in a period of 10 years will be able to double the GDP of the country. Then in the area of foreign relations, he was able to see the palpable link between domestic policy and foreign relations. We must be able to drive a foreign relations that advance welfare, security, and advancement of our people. And of course, a Pan-African perspective to his foreign relation perspective was also brought in a broader perspective in a discussion at Chatham House yesterday. I think that is the broad overview of the presentation of Ajibola Tinubu yesterday at Chatham House.
Indeed, Senator, those are the broad strokes. Now, in terms of his delivery, a lot of people, had commented that, it was an incisive delivery. It was confident. It was relaxed. Generally, it just gave the impression of competency. But there are those who would say that, well, that's one's opinion. What did you think about his mode of delivery? Let's take it one after the other, especially when he gave his opening address / lecture.
Of course, some other commentators, Yori, have listened to them this morning, talking about that his presentation was scripted. Then I asked myself, if a person is going to stand at a stage like that to make a presentation, whether written or whether composed, I wouldn't expect anything less than a well-articulated position in that regard. And you can see that he spoke along thematic lines, and I've been able to highlight the broad outline of his paper he spoke to electoral integrity, he spoke to the issue of security, he spoke to the issue of energy, development, economy, agriculture, security, and of course, he spoke to addressing the challenges of the youth in terms of unemployment. And I think he was able to, he did not shy away from the fact that our country is faced with certain challenges. It could have been otherwise if he just, talking in platitudes, but he was able to marry the challenges as well as his prospect and action plan to be able to address it. So I think he was able also, to clearly be very articulate and choosy in the kind of words, that he used in expressing, his thoughts about those, thematic areas of the subject matter of discussion.
Okay, indeed, just as you say, I mean, if somebody is going to go on a world stage like that, of course you're going to be prepared. Of course you're going to work on what your presentation is going to be. It doesn't matter who you are, whether CEO, whether president. People are not expected at that level to come up and just be speaking off the cuff. So I don't even see that a statement has been made when you say that it was a speech that he was working around. Of course, it would have been disrespectful, I think, if he had just not had anything at all apart from ad-libbing. So that to one side. The content of it, the mode, the manner of delivery, inspiring. Some have said it's confidence boosting. And it's just for those maybe who are on the borderline, it just might have swung it yesterday for more people to come around. As for those not needing to be, you don't preach to the converted. Those who already know and have made up their mind where they are, they were just ecstatic. But again, looking at one of the comments that I have heard, this Tinubu management style that we understand goes way back, where he's consultative more than anything else, and he wants to hear from everybody. That aspect yesterday, he took that to Chatham House, and we got a glimpse into that. The kind of people that have been selected also probably speaks to the entire package, because I think Tinubu was he was bent on saying, look, it's not a one-man show. No successful endeavor of this scale actually is. And so I have people that I trust, depend on. There was El Rufai in there. There was Ayade in there. Dele Alake was in there. Wale Edun. Everybody, these are accomplished pros in their own rights and high government officials in their own rights. And I suppose that speaks to the quality of the man that enables him to bring such people close to him, working off the same book, which is his roadmap, the presidential campaign's roadmap that is already published in Nigeria. He gave them an inkling into it yesterday. I suppose all of that was very much on course.
Yes, I think just as you see a positive side of the team management style of Ajibola Tinubu, for some of us who have been privileged to work closely with him, I think I would say since my 30s, I've had opportunity of having interaction, close interaction, and even opportunity to debate with him on virtually, every subject matter. He's not somebody who shy away from debate with some of us who are much younger to him, and some of us who consider ourselves to be subordinate. And of course, he will listen to you. He will also argue his own position out and take whatever he thinks be able to best articulate his vision in that regard. So as a team player, some of us know him to be that, and of course he's also a very boisterous person when it comes to making arguments and of course articulating his views on the issues. And of course, I've also had some commentators saying that perhaps Asiwaju becomes question allocator rather than addressing the question. One, I would say that that speaks not correctly on what I saw at the live streaming of the Chatham House yesterday, and not only that he allowed some of his trusted 8 allies and workers in the in the project, like Malam Nosfer Rufai, Dele Alake, Benayade, and of course I saw former Governor Fayemi also being there, directing questions on diaspora questions.
Exactly.
To be best addressed by Mahmoud.
Even our Governor Sanwo-Olu was there. Our Governor Sanwo-Olu was there. When I say our, I'm talking of Lagos.
Yes, of course. Some of us would also would have loved to be there, but for some other assignments, we are also doing here. But beyond the fact that some of them had opportunity of expressing their view, Asiwaju also addressed some of the issues directly himself. So it's not as if he, using the word, parried all the questions. He addressed personally the question of youth engagement, youth involvement, and of course his ability to be able to transform disaster in Lagos to wealth in terms of his involvement in the Atlantic City project. So it's not the case that Asiwaju did not personally address some of the questions, but because he has confidence in the ability of some of us who are his disciples and who are his aides, he's able at times to direct us to address some of those questions. You can see particularly the national women leader of our party, who is a public health practitioner, was given opportunity to be able to address questions as pertain that regard. And also that also spotlights the fact that Asiwaju does not care your age in terms of being able to seek your opinion as to matter. I think the national women leader is 36 years old. I know I've been working with Asiwaju, I have close contact with him since I was in my early 30s, and since then, notwithstanding the disparity in our age and status, he has a lot of regard for opinion of other people. Of course, I've also seen some commentators saying those people that are asking those questions, has he constituted cabinet, for instance, is Dele Alake, for instance, going to be the Minister of Petroleum for him to make a comment in relation to oil theft? I think with respect to such commentator, that would rather be pedestrian. A person does not need to be a minister in any sector to be able to have opinion and advise his leader and the national president on any matter that the person may have an opinion. And of course, you cannot query the soundness of the answer provided by Dele Alake in terms of using drones, technology to be able to drive the challenges we have in the oil and gas sector.
Okay, indeed. And for those, who are commenting, of course, they're free to do so along the lines of maybe they were caught unawares by Asiwaju's management style and assigning questions. It's not as if he handed over, he listened. There were instances where he felt a need to flesh out some of the things that had been said, not correcting or anything, but fleshing out and explaining, just adding more clarity. This shows that, to me, that if he had wanted to, he could have taken the question himself, but, not to put too fine a point on it, too much of a point on it, that just happens to be how he does his own management, and there are those who know. Now, the point was made that Chatham House, popularly called Chatham House, the Royal Institute of International Affairs, Ajibola Tinubu is no stranger to that place, as was said by the moderator. It's been a while since he's been there. I think it was 2011, if I'm not mistaken. Asiwaju spoke about that, look, he's a well-exposed person, capable person. This is familiar terrain to him, delivering lectures on this high and global level. But what would be your comment to those who are saying that, well, you went across to Europe, to the UK in particular, to the Royal Institute of International Affairs, and from their point of view, as we say locally, hui ep. What has that done for us, Nigerians? Hui ep. Now, because they want Asiwaju one-on-one. They want Asiwaju with them. So they've actually concluded, depending on how you see it, that what was the benefit of going to to the UK, to the Royal Institute of International Affairs. What would be your response?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, I think Asiwaju himself had offered another invitation to the Chatham House to come and speak after the election, by the grace of God, being won February 25, 2023. And of course, the chairman of the occasion also mentioned the fact that they have also extended the invitation to other candidates of other political parties, Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, Peter Obi of the Labour Party, and I think Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso of the NNP. It's left for them to attend or not to attend. Then as a presidential candidate and as a political party, I think we're at a liberty to choose where we want to appear and where we want to talk. In any event, somebody was saying that the Chatham House engagement did not make the newspaper headline in the United Kingdom. That's, there's not going to be an election of the president of Nigeria in United Kingdom. But nobody can doubt the fact that the experience at the Chatham House yesterday is about, what is trending in the social media in Nigeria is also pervasive in the mainstream media in Nigeria. So in terms of success as a media engagement, I would say that it has been a successful endeavor, and it has also afforded our presidential candidates and our team an opportunity to articulate our perspective on critical areas that Nigerians will be asking questions.
Okay, sorry.